Hello, everybody. This is the moment to start listening to another. Okay, I'm inviting everybody to take a seat. So we have moved from the first space to the second space of the Rent Academy. And we have moved from a really good high-level opening together with the Renewable Energy and Efficiency Week to the setting of the Rent Academy, which is a setting, I guess, a multi-stakeholder setting, an interactive space, facilitated a community event, a Rent-in-One community event. For me, everything is about human energy here and how human energy collectively can really make change and advance the energy transition to reach climate goals, to reach socioeconomic development, sustainable development goals. So my name is Rana Diep. I'm very, very happy to have all of you here. It's for me personally an exciting moment, and I think for Rent-in-One, the Rent-in-One Secretary team, a really exciting moment because we have the second Rent-in-One Academy, which is really the get-together of the multi-stakeholder community of you guys. So we have over 200 registered people here. From 80 countries and 150 organizations. It's quite international. All of you represent a multi-stakeholder community, and this is really what Rent-in-One is about. Now, sorry, I'm moving a bit. We have presented yesterday at the General Assembly the Rent-in-One strategy for the next 3 years. I'm not going so much into detail here, but I think it's very, very important for you to see where to position yourselves into the overall strategy and where to position also the Rent-in-One Academy. You'll see here the whole idea is we are very much known for our knowledge products, in particular the Renewables Global States Report, but also the regional reports, the Global Futures Report, etc. The idea is we are building knowledge. We are working on understanding the perception, because perception to advance the energy transition is still a barrier. And why are we doing this? We're not doing this because we love data and we are data crunchers. We're doing this because we actively want to shape the discussions of the future, the realities of the future. So the work we are doing here is really, really important. And to put some pressure on you, but positive pressure, Ursula Burak had said, like, all of us need the knowledge and the creativity of the Rent-in-One multi-stakeholder community to advance the energy transition. That's maybe pressure, but it's also a major opportunity because the messages we're working on here will be heard. You'll see here on the left, on the bottom side, the Rent-in-One community is really one of the building blocks. So it is important. The Rent-in-One Academy on the right side in the debates part is this interactive space which we are giving ourselves all together to exchange knowledge, to have debates which are not part of the mainstream debates yet, and to really advance new concepts and ideas. That's the way the Rent-in-One Academy has also been shaped. So we do have in the first block this afternoon and tomorrow morning, we will have a topic or a session on renewable energy and heat, renewable energy and transport, and energy system 2.0. This is a discussion we are continuing tomorrow morning to really link this into the whole question of integrated approaches toward the energy systems and services of the future. Then we'll move to the second thematic block, which is about upscaling, where we'll look into finance, where we look into communication and strategic communication, and where we also look into what this Rent-in-One community can also contribute. How can we work together? What are your needs to advance the energy transition in your areas? And all this will then lead again into the panel discussion on Wednesday, where we are really having a discussion as a renewable energy community, what realities we're facing. We heard it this morning. Decarbonization means like we need to take carbon out of the air. This leads to geoengineering solutions, CCSU, carbon capture, storage, and utilization. Oil and gas, coal is a reality. Still myth out there, we do need coal or fossil fuel base load to fuel the economy of tomorrow. So there are real realities and we need to confront us to this. So this will be the day of Wednesday morning. And then we'll have a closing, but we do not completely close because we also have some side events from the European Commission to really share their experiences of moving from an energy transition or energy pact to a decarbonization pact, from UNIDO with the global network of sustainable energy centers, and also from RENEWABLE on the Renewable Energy in Cities Global Status Report, because the idea is to really take into account also this reality and build on the success of the Global Status Report. This is for the content. I think on the format, which is really where you hopefully will, at the end of these days, say, like, we are in another space. We do have a super facilitation team here, because all is about collective intelligence. It's about interaction. It's not about listening to the experts. We are all resources. And often non-experts can potentially be a stronger resource than experts too, or the exchange of these. 1 + 1 is 3. Okay. As you hear, I am a bit nervous. For me, it's the first opening of an event we are doing. So, and I learned that sometimes it's good to say this because then you calm down again. So I'm doing this. I'm sharing one of my learnings. I guess the idea is also we are exchanging here, but our community is much broader. We do have something like 900 experts participating in the Global States Report production, for instance. And the idea is also, how do we basically link the knowledge we're producing here to the outside? We have chosen very different channels for this. One is these types of posters, which will be an outcome of every session, and which you can then look at in the sessions in the room next to it. I forgot the name, but the team will basically let you know where to go. And where you can really also learn what's happening in parallel sessions, but also let us know if you want to engage in this. I said it's about human energy. We're going to launch something which we really hope is cool and put a face on what this community is. So we do have Geraldine, who's going to take pictures of you individually, but collectively too, with a statement, and we are launching this on Instagram. So this is why we're asked to basically sign this form that you're happy to share it with the outside world. We had some, not pushback, but some feedback that RENEWABLE Academy as a title is something which is a bit misleading, because it sounds like from the top to the down, or from seniors to juniors, or from experts to non-experts. It's about everybody here and interchanging. So we thought, why not asking our participants after 3 days of hopefully great interactive discussions to come up with a cool name. So you'll have this spot, please look for it. It's kind of a treasure hunt here. Somewhere out there you will find this poster and let us know how we should call this. Okay, sorry. Before I'm going to this part, I'm coming to my notes, because my brain is a bit tired these days. Still working, but tired. We will have a famous quiz, which was already a super success in 2014 in the edition. We're going to do this again tonight, actually, before the dinner. So I count on all of you to participate. So a bit of competition is also cool, but with fun is better. This evening, we're going to have an event all together to exchange and spend some good time together. And we'll have the photo booth with Human Energy. And then again, sorry. Tomorrow evening, we will just reconnect with our Renewable Energy and Efficiency Week players and colleagues who are basically in this parallel event, but which is really a super audience too. And we thought mixing ourselves is also interesting to really link from the community to the outside and get some outside back to the community too. So we'll have an event with them. Now, building on this, I would obviously also like to thank the German government for their support to RENEWABLE, but also in particular to the RENEWABLE Academy, BMZ and BMWI. And now, because I'm standing here on my own, but it's not only me. The REN21 Secretariat is a super team, and I would just like to let you know who we are collectively, very shortly and efficiently, so that our facilitators will not be sad about us spending too much time. We have Wibu here, who for personal reasons had to leave, but the good news is she'll come back, and you have probably all been in touch with her, so that's why it's really cool that she will come back, and you can also meet her personally. But here, this will allow you to identify her. And now I am calling my colleagues of the REN21 Secretariat to the scene here, and we'll see what they have to say. Actually, and sorry, we'll improvise a bit because I'm first going over here to Katharina, who with Wibu was part of the project management team. Katharina.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Very happy to see all of you here. Oops. Yes, unfortunately, Wibu is not here right now, but she will be later. And Wibu and I were maybe in charge of organizing the project, but it would not have been possible without the whole team here. And if you have any questions or need me, I think you all have my phone number on the back of the program.
Okay, we are supposed to say a fun fact about ourselves. I don't know how to start. So, okay, I'm Amélie. I'm responsible for mainly registrations and just all around. So if you have questions, come to me. Fun fact. Shall we really do this, Rana? Yeah? Okay. Okay, I like to do a headstand in the morning.
Hi everyone, I'm Eleonara. Together with Amélie, we'll be at the reception for the next few days. Other than that, we'll actually both be doing the quiz this evening. So looking forward to seeing you there. And kind of fun fact, I really like Berlin and I'd like to move here in the future.
Hi, I'm Leah. In real life, I'm coordinating the Renewables and Cities Global Status Report. Here, I'll be running around, little girl for everything. And also, I'll be hosting the Cities Workshop on Wednesday. And in my little function as Girl for Everything, I'm not going to share a fun fact, but rather a warning. I already had the honor of testing these glass walls, and they hurt when you run against them.
Hello everyone, I'm Pauline from the communication team. So I'll be here. You can come to me for the photo, the portraits and the quotes. So, and the human energy, so you really have to come. And fun fact, I was a Girl Scout when I was a kid.
I'm Hannah. I've been coordinating the Renewables Global Status Report for a couple of years now. Was working on it with Rana previously. And during the Academy, you can come to me in case you are interested in the transport sessions, which I'll be working on along with the facilitators. And fun fact, I'm originally from rural Texas and grew up on a chicken farm.
Bioenergy. My name is Laura. I direct communication and outreach activities. Here I will be doing video, photo, general harassment. One thing is that we're going to take a portrait of every single one of you. You will get a gold star, which will be put on your tag. If you do not have a gold star, you are not allowed to leave the academy. Okay, so you've been warned. And one fun fact about me, I like to start my weekends with 2 cups of hot tea, a piece of shortbread, and a good book in bed.
Sounds nice. Hi, everyone. My name is Duncan. I am the newest addition to the REN21 team. I'm working with Hannah on the GSR. I've been here for around 2 months. And here at the Academy, you can find me most prominently in the heating session. And I'll also be running around and hopefully making things run smoothly on one level. A fun fact about me is, well, I actually have 2. One is that on this stage, I am a man. So I really worked hard for that one. Very proud of it. And the other is that at night, I'm a DJ and I make music with guitars and computers. So There you go.
Thank you. So I think they really, it's a super team, so it would be great to applaud them because they have been working really hard. And to be honest, I mean, it would be a bit unfair. It's not me who decided to share secrets. It was the team who decided, even though it's easy to put it on my back now. But so obviously I'm going to share a secret too. So I'm playing in a Brazilian drum band, a percussion band, the big drums, and I really like this. So rhythm in life is really important, and I hope we'll experience it later. So after the Rent and Non-Secretariat team, I would like to quickly introduce you to the Facilitators team because they will really contribute significantly to make this space over the next 3 days, this was not Freud, happen. So please come on stage.
Okay, so my name is Mariah Britton. I'm one of this lovely facilitation team. My passion is for people to have real and deep conversations, and I hope that we can have them here also in the Academy. And a secret, I think a secret is one of my first jobs was to work for Skoda and lead one of their mascots, which was a bear. They had like a green bear. In a football stadium around, and that was my first student job. So, yeah, so I'm good with leading people around.
Thank you. My name is Kanika, and I'm also one of the facilitator team. I'm a, well, so to say, sustainability pro, but I have two superpowers. The one is actually getting people all aligned and transforming ideas into concrete actions. And the second superpower is I have green fingers, but only for one specific plant, which is the aloe vera. All the other plants die. So if you have any advice how I can, well, treat all the other plants better, then please come and see me. And also, if you're interested in, well, thinking and co-creating about the energy system of the future, come and see us in this afternoon session.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Clara. I'm an engineer, energy engineer by training, but actually my heart beats more for using more creative ways to work on global issues. Maybe one secret about me is, you might not think of this now, but I was once number 10 in the Berlin stiletto run that ran all across the Kurfürstendamm. So I can be very quick with stilettos. And yeah, come and find me if you not only want to think about the energy futures in a more creative way, but also about the REN 21 strategy in tomorrow's session.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alexandra. My passion is to be part of the solution rather than the problem. And I think that's why we're all gathered here today. And I have a really geeky superpower, and that's I have never had a deadline I didn't meet, which as a facilitator is very useful because we're going to keep you guys running on time so we can actually really achieve this very ambitious and exciting agenda.
Hello, my name's Jo, and I'm the last of the facilitation team to introduce ourselves here. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I'm facilitating the sessions on transport and a few other sessions, so I hope we'll be seeing lots of you in those sessions. I'm a consultant working in the areas of strategy, organizational development, management, campaigning, those areas. And maybe a cross between a superpower and something slightly unusual about me, I do Irish dancing on a regular basis because you're never too old to be kicking yourself in the arse.
Well, Duncan, thank you very much. And I hope that Duncan heard this Irish power. And so tonight, maybe Joe might all teach us how we do Irish dancing. This might be fun, so be prepared. So I mentioned that the idea is also to share a bit what we're doing during the next days with the outside work. So we are going to launch the Instagram account, and we need you, please. And I don't have all the handles here, but I think these are things. Use them for Twitter, Instagram, etc. Be active in this. Have good ideas. Share your knowledge, insights, understanding. Your best friends, comments, etc. But we also have some vloggers here and videographers, because we're basically going to record things. We were thinking about this a lot. Are we streaming, not streaming? But since it is also about interactive spaces and secure spaces where we are working from peer to peer, etc., we thought like streaming does not seem right. But we still think that we'll have lots of things we want to also tell the outside world. So this is what we're going to do. And I'm asking the vloggers and tweeters, so Art and Rio, for instance, come here. The videographers and vloggers. So for the videographers, I know they are standing there, but we do have the team of WeCap, Jacob, Luciano, Anna, and Paul, who will be there and who will grab you for doing interviews. And then we have...
So hello everybody, my name is Rio, and I'm here in charge of tweeting and a little bit this and that, note takers in the transport session later on, so you might see me a lot in transport session. And fun fact about me, like Duncan, well, he was a DJ, but I am also a professional bathroom singer. Yeah, so if you want to come and see, you might not be able to see it, but just to hear it, yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Art. I work at UN Environment across the hall from REN21. I'll be supporting with the tweeting as well. Fun fact, I've spent all morning thinking about this fun fact, probably more time than I spent thinking about all these tweets.
That's a little bit sad. No, just a question. Who here knows what a vlogger is? That's really good. Well, I think Simon will explain it afterwards. I'm Flavia. I'm a PhD student. That's obviously not the fun fact. In my spare time, which is not a lot, I go around with this camera and like to record people having fun. And hopefully that's what I'll be doing here with you. Don't make me hunt you down. Just have fun and enjoy the academy. And yeah, I'll be going around asking you fun questions, and hopefully you'll share interesting facts about yourself as well, and renewable energy and all these things. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Simon. I'm a recovering PhD student. I graduated this year, and I'm here as a video blogger. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's doing short, personalized videos, normally on YouTube. So I am going to be going around, I feel embarrassed, it's a lot bigger, the camera, talking to some of you, maybe pulling you aside for interviews. And a fun fact about me is it's a miracle that I'm here because last month I had my first ride on a tandem with my girlfriend, which I don't recommend if you're at the back because I felt like I was going to die.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So you see from the setting, we will have fun, I'm pretty sure. Now I will come to, thank you, sorry. I will just come back again. Oh yes, an applause for them too. I would like to really end with this slide because I do think, even though we have fun, and I hope we will have fun, it's about serious things we're talking about. And we can really contribute to change. And so keep these things in mind when you're working together. There is one thing, and this will probably be one of our best friends during the next days, especially of Alex, keeping the timer. So the idea is no huge long speeches, but 3 minutes, and everybody can see it. So there is a pressure on the speakers. And I think I'm really bad in timing. Yes, but well, that's a liberty I can take. Thank you. We are moving to the next session, which is, and I'll quickly introduce it, and then I'll go back here, the REN21 Academy. And Mareike is going to come here to make the introduction. Thank you very much.
So we're going to put our first two speakers to the test. And can I please get Adam Brown to come up here as the first one? So Adam's secret power, I think, is that he has a huge experience, almost 40 years of experience working with governments, industry and international organizations, and is a special advisor to the REN21 Global Status Report, and is an absolute geek on bioenergy. And he's going to talk to us about the current status of renewable energy in end-use sectors, and why there is actually not much renewable energy uptake in heat and transport, and why it's important to focus on a systems approach.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed for asking me here this afternoon. I'm also a male, a rare species so far this afternoon on the panel. And I also used to be a folk dancer, but an English folk dancer, a Morris dancer, the prime requirement of which is to drink about 10 pints of beer before you start. So maybe later on, if there's enough beer this evening, you might even see me doing that. So I'm just one or two slides I'd like to show, if I could. Yes, please. Thank you very much. So I was asked really to just have a brief intervention today, really to put the other discussions we have in context and maybe just be a little bit provocative. So if you don't agree with some of the things I say, that's fine. You can discuss them in your sessions later on. But I wasn't sure what to call this this short intervention. I did think about winning the battle, but maybe losing the war. But you'll see what I mean by that in a moment. So let's start with the good news. The good news is if you look at what's been happening in renewable electricity, you see there's pretty remarkable progress from the last 10 years. You see how the amount of renewable in the electricity sector has doubled. And it's continuing to grow, particularly through the growth recently of wind and now of solar. And the even better news is that this is expected to continue. If you look at the IEA's Renewable Market Report, they expect renewables to go from about 25% now to about 30% of global electricity over the next 5 years. So actually, this is quite a success story. Costs are coming down, renewable electricity is being deployed more and more widely. So we can all give ourselves a quick pat on the back for that, I think. But unfortunately, that's not the whole story. You see here we have renewables 25% in the power sector, but actually the electricity only provides about 20% of total final energy consumption. So we could completely substitute the electricity sector with very low carbon renewables, but we wouldn't get to the heart of the carbon emissions from energy point of view. And if you look at the other sectors, things are not so brilliant. In the transport sector, transport's about 32% of global energy demand, and actually is the most rapidly growing sector, but renewables are about 3%. Most of that is biofuels, a little bit of renewable electricity. And if you go to the heat sector, which is in some ways the biggest sector, it has nearly half of all energy is used in the heating sector. Well, at one level, it doesn't look too bad. We have 27% is renewable energy, but 2/3 of that is traditional biomass, which I don't think anybody thinks is an efficient, sustainable way of using resources. And we only have about something less than 10% of modern renewable heat. So we're doing very well, but unfortunately we're doing well in one sector, and that's not the biggest sector by any means. And then if you look what's happening on a historical basis, this is from the SDG 7 Energy Progress Report. You can see from renewables in the electricity sector were struggling to keep pace with rapidly rising demand for electricity. But since about 2008, 2009, they've started to win that battle, and they're growing substantially. And as I said, this is expected to continue to about 30% over the next 5 years. But if you look at the other sectors, the picture's not so rosy. In the heating sector, it's just about holding its own. It's certainly not growing very significantly. And again, the IEA report doesn't expect that sector to grow that very much. And in the transport sector, we've got up to about 3%, mostly from renewables, but it's more or less stuck there. And again, if you look in the IEA market report and forecast, that's supposed to go up to about 3.1, 3.2% over the next 5 years. So again, the story is very good in the electricity sector, but progress in the other sectors is pretty slow. So why is this, and what can we do about it? I think that's really what we should be focusing on in the next day or so. Now, part of this, and I think is quite clear, is a lack of policy attention. You can see that a lot of countries have renewables power policies, very few have, well, about half the number have policies on transport and relatively few in the transport sector. So part of this maybe is policy attention, and policymakers perhaps find these other sectors harder to manage. But I don't think that's necessarily the whole section. Now, what do we actually need to have to get the sort of massive scale up in renewables that we really think we need? Well, first of all, I think we need to have a proven technology portfolio. We need to have a package of things which work in different circumstances. We need the energy it produces to be affordable. I haven't said cost competitive, I've said affordable, meaning that policymakers and the society as a whole needs to decide this is worth doing, even if it's a little bit more expensive than fossil fuel, taking all things into account. We need to have efficient policy portfolios to get things going. It's no good just having a few policies, because often they don't work. You've seen in the transport sector, 70 countries have transport policies, but actually that's not moving at all. So the policy portfolio can't be the right policy portfolio. It's not working. We need to make sure we can integrate the energy we have into the system, and that's true in the electricity sector. It's also true in the other sectors. How do you make sure that renewable fuels can be integrated into the fuel system? How do you make sure that heat can be properly integrated into the energy system and with energy efficiency measures and so on? And then lastly, even when you've got all those things, we need to make sure that we then get replication of those good ideas, that the capacity's in place to make this happen, not just in a few countries in the EU and so on, but more widely. Yeah, you can debate whether those are the right things, but that's what I feel. Now, if we look at the electricity sector, I think you can see that actually we have green traffic lights in many of those areas. I think in the integration area, we're learning how to integrate more and more renewables into the electricity system. Certainly at low levels of renewables, that's not a problem. You can question whether in some economies which are just developing the whole electricity system, whether we know the best way to integrate renewables into a very disaggregated system, but that's working. But actually, we're not getting this rollout. For example, if you look in sub-Saharan Africa, there are only a handful of countries in sub-Saharan Africa that have more than 20 megawatts, not gigawatts, 20 megawatts of renewables. I mean, that's one not very big wind farm or solar park. But if you look in the other sectors, I won't go through the whole story, but the other sectors, we're doing much less well. In the transport sector, we have some technologies that work. We have biofuels and so on and so forth, which can be affordable in the right cases, but we don't have the technologies developed to go in jet engines in the aviation sector, and we certainly don't have good consensus about the policy mix we need there to promote, for example, biofuels and make sure they're sustainable. There's only one country which has more than 20% of renewables in the transport sector, that's Brazil. And again, we have this replication factor. Buildings is a very complicated sector with lots of different end uses and different resources and infrastructure around. We do have a set of technology, but are the technologies we have really the right ones to penetrate that market in the way we need to do? And do we have the right policies really to push this? Again, this is only really succeeding in a certain number of places. And then lastly, the industry sector, outside outside the bioenergy industries and a few cases of solar in some applications, we really haven't cracked this at all. And this is just really starting to be opened up with the work people are doing about now you can produce renewable hydrogen much more cheaply. We're starting to see the first demonstrations of this. So I think you can see that I think we should give ourselves a pat on the back in the electricity sector, but the job's not done yet. We have a lot of work to do to really get renewables to penetrate in the transport, buildings and the industry sectors in collaboration with other technologies and particularly with energy efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam. And now we've got Benoit Lebeau. Thank you. Benoit is the Executive Director of the International Partnership for Energy Efficiency Cooperation, and he has dedicated his career to energy efficiency, climate change mitigation, and clean energy. And he's going to talk to us about the linkages between renewable energy and energy efficiency, and the importance of policies and institutions that actively link the two.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I represent an international organization based in Paris called the International Partnership for Energy Efficiency Cooperation. We report to the G20, it's a collaboration solely on energy efficiency. And you certainly know ARENA. We are the arena of energy efficiency. But energy efficiency being what it is, a complex, invisible fuel, we are struggling to raise some visibility. In the world today, everything everyone does every day and everywhere requires energy. We know that. Between 1900 to 2000, the world population grew by a factor 4. Over the same period, the energy consumption by the world grew by a factor 16. Energy is the lifeblood of economic and human development. And this is why energy is so important in our world today. It's only a percentage of the GDP. The energy business is only a percentage of the GDP. But when you take all the other elements of the GDP, without energy, we'll go nowhere. Energy is the lifeblood of the economic and human development. But more than energy, what we need is the services that energy provides. And above all, what counts is the energy services that we have. The heat, cold, light, mobility, communication, and mechanical action. This is what we need above all, right? And in order to respond to this demand, all the energy players that I know, that I meet today, from the nuclear people to the coal, oil, gas, and even renewable energy, I hear the same thing. We need more energy in this world. We need more energy because of the growing population, because of the modernization of all the economies. And everyone is happy with that, because every of those fuel, from coal to gas, from oil to nuclear, see an opportunity for just providing more supply. This is not compatible with what we know of climate change today. And we have to go back to the service that we need. This is a building. This is a building that was recently commissioned 3 years ago. This 3-story building located in the French Alps is the home of 20 engineers. This is where they work. And they have put in this building all their knowledge about the passive solar design. And they have solved every bit of the energy need that they have to access for their own business. You must have seen this building, passive house system. Half of the roof is made of a solar system. This building is so energy efficient that it doesn't consume any heat during the winter time, any air conditioning during the summertime. And over the 1 year period, this is measured data, with half of the roof with PV, this building produce 7 times more electricity than it consumes every year. This is what we call energy efficiency, and this is why the combination of renewable energy and energy efficiency is so crucial. Do you know that in the world today, we're gonna double the amount of building in the world between now and 2050? We will double the surface area of buildings. At the current pace of construction in Africa, Latin America, in Asia, we build the equivalent of the surface of Paris every week in the world. Two-thirds of this construction is done without any consideration of climate change, of energy efficiency. There is no way renewable energy will take us alone to where we need to bring this world. Just look at buildings. You have seen this plane, this beautiful plane that circles the world with the sun as the sole source of energy. This is a solar impulse. You've seen it, right? This is not new to you. When you ask Bertrand Piccard, the inventor and the pilot of this plane, ask him. That's what I did when I met him. How long did it last for you to design the solar part? It took him and a friend 10 minutes for 2 people to calculate the surface available for PV. But to build the rest of the plane, to make sure that there is the most adequate design, choice of material, choice of the efficiency of the motors, management of the battery and the management, it took a team of 20 engineers 12 years. And if the solar is the only fuel for this plane, what made this plane took off is energy efficiency. And this alone is a symbol of the world we need to build. The visible part, yes, it is a solar panel on the plane, but the invisible part, where we need to be smart, when we need to marry, is the design of every bit. And this is what we call smart energy, energy efficiency above all, right? When a country has some discovery of some oil or gas, they put a drill and they will extract for the next 20, 30 years some energy resources. When a country decides to go green and, for example, build a wind farm or a solar PV system, over the next 20, 30 years, the system will deliver the kilowatt hour. When a country chooses to implement a policy, a program, a project on energy efficiency, on buildings, on transport, or in the industry, over the next 15, 20, 30 years, energy savings will be delivered. Energy efficiency is a fuel, and looking at some of the IEA assessment where energy has been implemented in some countries. This is a summary of the evolution of the total energy in 11 of the IEA member countries. You can see in green the assessment of what energy efficiency has brought to these 11 countries. Today, energy efficiency delivers more in terms of services than any other fuel. Energy efficiency is today the first fuel in countries where energy efficiency has been implemented for the past 20 years. We heard this morning the challenge of climate change, and we know that compared to business as usual, we keep emitting, more and more greenhouse gas emission because, in particular, we keep emitting greenhouse gas emission from the fossil fuel. So we know that we have to bring the emission to low carbon development. And when you look back, there's only 4 steps that can take us there. 4 steps, very important to understand. The first step is change lifestyle and behavior in the way we use energy, in the way we think energy, by not taking the car and preferring public transport or walking or riding your bike. Behavior change alone can take us to 10 to 15% of the total. Then comes energy efficiency. And the combination of the two is called energy conservation. And there is not a system in the world, energy system, that we cannot divide by half, 3 times, 4 times, sometimes 10 times the level of energy consumed for the same level of services. Then come renewable energy. And the decarbonization of the energy system is a combination of the top three. And then come the part called improve carbon things, stop deforestation, and start to also think about how to suck the CO2 from the atmosphere, from biomass, and from the material. The International Energy Agency has regularly produced this type of graph, highlighting how much, what part of the greenhouse gas emission can be abated through the different system. And yes, renewable energy is a great chunk of the energy related greenhouse gas emission. But as you can see, energy efficiency is a fuel and should be the first fuel. Energy efficiency spells with 2 E's. Energy efficiency. But energy efficiency, like the energy transition, can be described in a series of D. D like decoupling. Decoupling the service that we can get from the energy consumption that we can use. Decoupling from the growth, the economic growth, with the total energy consumption of any business, community, or country, right? Decoupling. Very important decoupling is related to greenhouse gas emissions. So decarbonization is the second D. I would say decentralization. This is also a very interesting development. For the first time, we can harvest energy where it is located. This is a renewable energy, but we have also the same on energy efficiency. We can harvest. Energy efficiency is the only fuel that all countries have in common. Then comes digitalization. This is the beauty of our world. We all have smartphones, and digitalization can take us to where we need if we choose that, if we agree, and if we put in place the solution and the team that can bring the right combination between the way we produce energy in a decentralized manner through renewable energy and the way we consume this energy in every new sector. We need digitalization for the design, for the management, for helping to hold our hand in the way we use energy. Disruptive, we have to accept that what we need to bring the world to, it will be disruptive. Let me quote here Professor Henry, a big professor from France. He said clearly, we have to face it. There is no choice but to organize the bankruptcy of some major players in the world today. The old coal and gas company, the role of the international community of government is to organize in the smartest way the bankruptcy of some of the biggest players of the economic world. This is disruption, and we are part of that, and we have to be clear in the way we can get there, right? And the last D, I like it. It's desirable. If we don't like this planet, if we don't believe that climate change is real, if we don't believe in the solution that we can bring, we are not going to make it happen. With that, thank you very much for your attention. More than happy to continue the conversation. I hope this is just the beginning of a dialogue, because it's the combination of us with you, with energy efficiency and renewable energy that can take it. Renewable energy, you have succeeded. You have won the war on cost. Let's win the war towards a low carbon development together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. I think both Benoit and Adam made it very, very clear why we've chosen the sessions for this afternoon, and really looking into what does the energy system 2.0 look like, what are the pathways to renewable heat, and how can we decarbonize the transport sector. And if you're not quite sure yet why you should choose which session or where you should go, we're now going to hear from some of our experts from the sessions, and they will tell you why you should come to the session. So can I ask Dr. Ute Collier from Practical Action, Holger Dalkman from Partnership on Sustainable Low Carbon Transport, and Aaron Leopold from Africa Minigrids Developers Association to tell us why you guys should come to the session that they are helping to host.
Okay, I'll start then. I think you already know why you should come to HEAT. As it was told by Adam and it was told this morning, Heat accounts for around 50% of energy consumption. In fact, I worked at the International Energy Agency till recently, and we came to above 50%. So it is clearly a very important end use. But then some of you might think, because I know quite a few of you come from developing countries where you certainly don't heat your homes. Why should you come? Well, of that 50% of heat, but half of it is used in buildings, about half of it is in industry. But that, what we call the buildings heat, includes, for example, cooking. And we know that this is an area where we've made so little progress. Latest IEA figures, well, globally we've had a small reduction in the people not having access, not having access to clean cooking. But even those, they moved to LPG. So we're not getting out of fossil fuels for cooking, and in sub-Saharan Africa, actually, the numbers are getting worse. So that's a problem. I also give you the example of Berlin. You know, here we are in Germany, the country of the energy transition. Well, if you look at the figures for district heating here in Berlin, I think they're actually pretty shocking. 90% of it is based on, or over 90% based on fossil fuels. About 60% gas, okay, nice, most of it combined heat and power. There's still 33% of coal and a tiny little bit from biomass. And I'm actually hot here. You know, I think actually, and this comes back to what Benoit was saying, places are also overheated, so we need behavior change. And this comes to the crux of it. Heat is just so complex. You know, it's not a simple solution. It's not a few decision makers. I mean, that's the nice thing with electricity, relatively few people involved. Here we actually have building owners having to make decisions on heating. We have billions of people making decisions on cooking. Of course, affordability is a big issue in there. We've got industry people making decisions, and then we have technologies which are maybe not totally suitable either. I mean, you know, a gas boiler actually functions very well, and if you want to replace it by a biomass boiler, that's a lot more hassle. So we need to think about people, about decision makers, about behavior change, and I think those are all very exciting issues we can discuss later on. So do come to the heat session, although, of course, my colleagues should also have a few people. So shall I pass on to transport next, or? Right.
Good afternoon. While I think heating is very important, but who can live also without also transport? So we're actually moving from A to B every day. We even also had in the agenda, I was quite excited, not just also that transport was part also of the program, but suddenly also, we transport also from A to B. So we obviously know it's a big part also of our economy, but we also know it's a big threat. It's a threat around also our daily safety. 1.3 million people actually die every year. We have a common threat also with energy on air pollution. We have more than 7 million people or so every year are actually get us into premature death, so we have an issue, and obviously climate change. And we heard from Adam that transport is not progressing. In fact, it's getting worse. And in comparison to heating, transport is actually even doing worse, so we need also even more action. So we have currently 24% of the energy-related CO2. We had a 39% increase on energy users between 2000 and 2016. And you see also the world is currently also getting also more and more motorized on individual vehicles. And from a transport perspective, we say always also three things. We need also a transport transition, which we here in Germany call also the Verkehrswende. So we need also to avoid. We need also, that means also to reduce also the length of trips. And with all respect also to the nice building also we saw, as long as people can't get there also with public transport in an efficient way, we're also missing the trick.
We also need to shift also to walk, cycle, taking also public transportation. And also we need to improve, and that's also where the renewable energy and the energy comes into place. We need also more efficient vehicles, and we need cleaner vehicles. We need also cleaner fuel and cleaner systems. And that also is an important part, but I'm happy also that you put this also here into context, because with just the electrification also of the fleets and so on, we will not win the battle and leaving a lot of people also behind. So here, please also think about also when you present next time, saying, well, these buildings are good, but please also put them also in cities where people actually can also get there, which is important. So we will also discuss here 4 things. Would like to look also into more policy. The question on, we have policy also on electricity or on renewables also in some countries when it comes also to transport. So we have here 5 countries currently saying, well, we also will ban also our fossil fuel cars in the future, but that's by 2040. So how to speed up? We have to look also into the questions of infrastructure. Who is actually paying for the infrastructure we need also for that transport transition? And also we will talk about also consumer behavior, how we also can also move forward also with procurement. And finally, which is for me most important, really is the integration of transport and energy. Currently, just there is 3.1% of the energy consumption in transport comes from also renewables. Only 0.3% are in fact also through clean electricity. So how we get there, how to really ramp up so that we can also tackle transport, tackle energy, and with that also we can also tackle climate change. So please also come also and join sometimes the energy and the heat, but also come also to transport. Thank you.
Yes. So thanks, everyone. My name is Aaron Leopold. I'm the CEO of the African Mini-Grid Developers Association. And if you know anything about mini-grids, you know that they are one thing. They are bottom-up. They are decentralized. They are distributed. And they're also really challenging. You have heat problems, you have transport problems, and the distributed future of our world is still something that is very much in question. How are we going to bring about this transition? We know that they are the best solution for so many hundreds of millions of people around. We know that the technologies are mature, but the business models and the understanding of the customers in rural and remote areas is not mature. So we have an implementation gap. I think, on the other hand, one of the biggest challenges is, how do we get decision makers to adopt these things that are coming out as we speak? Every year there's a new technology that's making something more and more feasible than it ever was before. But at the same time, decision makers are inherently cautious and conservative, and bankers who are supposed to be financing this revolution are also inherently conservative and cautious. So I think one of the most interesting things that we're going to be talking about in our session is what's wrong with the current system today, what is the ideal system that we are moving towards in the future, and we're going to have small group work kind of, dreaming up the pathways to this from our different perspectives. This is not supposed to be a conversation amongst experts. We're going to sit down in these small groups, have facilitators, and sort of talk through the problems from your specific corner of the world and your perspective, and to bring everyone's conversations together at the end to come out with a few outcomes and impacts that we think we as individuals can bring. Not that REN 21 can bring, not that the UNFCCC can bring, etc., but what can we do as individuals? And I think that's the most important thing that we want to understand coming out of this is how we can all take action. So if you want to join a conversation on that topic, please come and see us. We're going to be in the Earth Room, and I hope that was all entertaining for you, because I tried to be as energetic as Benoit, but he's the most energy efficient presenter I have ever seen, so I'm not sure if I could top it, but I tried. So that was it. Here you go, Mariah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so session locations, we're gonna have distributed renewable energy system over in the Earth Room. That's all the way down there. So part of where you checked in or left your left your quotes. And this is a small session, so it's restricted to 25 people, and it's first come, first serve. So run down there if you want to be part of it. Then the second part, the second part is a transport session. So if you want to be in the transport session, that's going to be here, so you don't actually have to move very far. And then the Pathways to Renewable Heat session is all the way down there. But before you're now heading to one particular session, we're going to do a group picture. And we have a fantastic photographer who's already over there, up on his ladder. And we're going to try to squeeze you all into that tiny little space there. And I'm going to try something. So I have 2 kids at home, 2 little girls. And in order to get them to speed up, I sometimes put a timer on. So I'll see if I can get you in 3 minutes all over there to where Laura stands. Ready, steady, go.